Yeah, what's going on, guys? Dan or Daff here, joined by my wonderful co-host Connor and Wolverine.
Good afternoon, guys.
So this is the third episode of the podcast. We got some fantastic topics to cover today. I'll read you off the list so you know what we're going to be talking about, but so you can skip to where you want in the podcast, so you guys know what you want to listen to. We're going
Yeah,
to be
same again. We'll
covering,
put it in the description, the timestamps as well.
yeah,
So
each. We're going to be talking about each COD and our personal experience with those Call of Duties, the growth in the industry over the last 10 years, the gaming industry as a whole, the
yeah,
patching,
financially.
yeah, and the patching of the snipers in the Cold War Alpha in preparation for the beta that comes out in a few weeks, and also a big website that we're both massive fans of, CD Keys. Um, so yeah, Connor, did you want to kick it off with our personal experience on some of these Call of
Yeah, I
Duties?
think what we're gonna do is run through every single COD, where we were at that specific time in life, and what those Call of Duties meant to us, and what we did with them Call of Duties. So we'll just kick it off with Call of Duty. The original Call of Duty came out in 2003. Um, where were you in 2003, Dan? I know you're a
God,
little bit younger than me.
yeah, I was just an 8-year-old kid at that point, so I'd heard of the brand. I think not at the original release of Call of Duty when they brought out the first one, but I started hearing about Call of Duty when I was about 9 or 10. So for the first Call of Duty, I was not around for that. I didn't play that. My games when I was that age, I was very much still on handheld consoles like the Game Boy, and
Mhm.
also playing watching my sister's dad, my stepdad at the time, play Halo on the Xbox original. So for me, I definitely skipped the first couple of Call of Duties because I
Yeah, I
didn't
think
have an
I was around.
Xbox.
Yeah, I was around about 10 years old when. So I was born in '93. Obviously, Call of Duty came out in 2003. I was 10 years old, so it really didn't have an impact on me um, until the later years. Now I played Call of Duty 2, which is the one we'll go on to now, because it's one that was sort of starting to shape. I remember COD 2, you couldn't sprint. I mean, I still got it on PC. I jump on there every now and again, but all it is bot servers. So um, it's sort of not the same as I'd like to play the multiplayer and whatever. But yeah, Call of Duty 2 was sort of shaping it up. It was becoming what it was into this huge company that we all know today. But 2005, it was 2 years later after the original Call of Duty, which is unprecedented to what it is now.
Yeah,
But then
did
again,
it?
there was little CODs in between it. So like I'm reading off this website now. Like, I didn't even know this. I remember hearing of Call of Duty Finest Hour, which came out in 2004, but I don't remember ever playing it, ever seeing it on a shelf. I just remember hearing about it. And obviously, Call of Duty 2 came Big Red One, which is what you remember, Dan. You thought Call of Duty Big Red One was the first one until
Yeah, I
I
did. Yeah.
mentioned it.
That's the
So,
first one I really remember going over to my at the time I just started secondary school, so I was 11, so 2006. And I remember I used to one of my childhood things I used to go up to my friend's house and would meet at his, and his mum would take us to school, and I remember spending some mornings and some afternoons after school going back to his and playing on his PlayStation, playing the big red one on PlayStation 2.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I didn't. And after that, I sort of didn't really have any interest in Call of Duty until COD 4. But we won't get there yet. But um, yeah, that's but
Yeah,
Call of
sort of
Duty. Big.
when sort of Call of Duty 2 came out, I didn't play it. Obviously, I've got it on PC now, so it's a lot different now for me to see that menu style and everything because it's all just modded servers now, so it's not the same. So I never actually got to see it in its prime. Uh, but moving on to Call of Duty 3, which is where I sort of first officially got into Call of Duty myself. So I'd started before COD 4, uh, not doing the sniping. I mean, I was sniping, but it wasn't for the videos that we make and we have made for the past 10 years. So around about COD 3 time, I remembered it was they had set classes for each individual thing. So you had like a medic and a scout, and I was always the scout. I love sniping on any Call of Duty from this one on. Like COD 3 sort of shaped it for me. I don't know about you, Dad. Do you play COD 3 or?
I know. Again, it's another. I played the big red one. I never played any of the other ones until COD 4. So
Yeah.
COD 3 I touched on after COD 4 had already come out. So I think I purchased COD 3 originally around the time sort of the beginning of the decade of 2010. So about 2010 or 11, I remember getting COD 3 and playing it and sniping, obviously because I'd already know about sniping from COD 4. But yeah, I didn't purchase that game till well after release because, like I say, COD 4 was the first real game that got me super interested in the franchise. So
yeah, I remember COD 3 having like a lot of like Easter eggs and glitch spots. Like I think it was, I can't remember, there was a dam map, and you'd if you were playing with your pals, you know, you'd have one lying down and then the other one would run into your head and you both start floating up to the top of the dam. It was really strange COD for like glitches like that. And you could do that in several different parts of each map. You could just run into your pal's head and you just start floating up. It was a very strange glitch, but obviously as a young sniper, that was perfect. You know, go on top of the dam, no one knows where you are. You sat inside a wall, and it was very glitchy game. It was. I suppose it's the same as because we'll move on to COD 4 now because this is when it's going to get a bit more in depth.
I was going to say
the CODs
before
that
we move on
Sorry,
to COD 4, there is something quickly I want to bring up about COD 3. I did. I don't know for anyone who has followed me personally on YouTube for the last at least 3 or 4 years. When I got my Xbox One, Call of Duty 3 was the first backwards compatible COD, and I remember already owning the game. I had it on disc, and I put it in, and I made a short video about it. But I remember when I was making that video, I didn't realise back then when I originally purchased the game in 2010 how pleasing that game was to play. Like the sniping was actually really good on that game, and I actually really enjoyed the kill feed as well. The kill feed with the square headshots in a box. I thought that was really cool concept. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up. That game was actually quite a lot of fun when I started playing it properly.
Obviously, back then you had. Not even back then, it was more, he carried on doing it, but you remember Faze Rockstar, who has recently come back, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
And he started playing again. It was so fun to watch his montages where he'd get like a quad punching people. Like, you could punch people on the game. You just literally,
yeah, I remember.
Before they've ruined all the new ones with the 2-hit melee, which is kind of weird. But like I was saying, the whole glitch thing on COD 3 obviously moved on to COD 4 with elevators. Elevators were a big thing in COD 4. But COD 4, huge one for me and Dan. It was sort of the birth of Call of Duty sniping gameplays and
100%.
Having people like Zergriz, iBlackouts, Echo Guy V,
Six Sins, Dominator is a birth of one of the most famous commentators in the early decade, Operator Perry.
Who now works for technically Microsoft now. He worked for Bethesda. Microsoft had just acquired Bethesda, so I think technically he works for Microsoft, which is crazy to think that he started on COD 4
and doing video editing, cut comms, commentaries. Yeah, he was a big name in the scene. But
COD 4 was the biggest one for me personally. It was the first one. So by the time I obviously played all these CODs, but COD 4, I got shown properly the whole sniping scene in around 2009, 2010. After I'd gone to college, obviously 2009, 2010 was Modern Warfare 2. So obviously seeing that, I got shown by, like I've said it on I think I said it on the first episode, Adam was the one that showed me. Or was it the second episode we spoke about?
I think it was the second
episode. Yeah. I spoke about Adam. I went to college with my pal Adam, who we still play with today, and he had a couple of friends, and they'd just sit in COD 4 lobbies all the time. You'd have one person on someone's Dell computer in the corner playing COD 4 PC, and then the rest of us were all playing COD 4 on console, you know, trying to go for clips. This was back when the recording equipment was an easy cap.
Yeah, easy
I
cap, and then you
remember
had the
easy cap,
dazzles a
yeah.
little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
But obviously, I got shown that then, and this is when I'm being shown videos of Neil, our friend Neil. Oh my God, it's Neil from his PS3 days. And then I'm being shown Blackouts and ACOG IV, other people, Knockside, and obviously huge Call of Duty. But I don't know. It's a strange one.
Yeah, but see, me and you have very different backgrounds when it comes to COD. You played most of the CODs growing up. See, I came from a Halo
Yeah.
background. Halo was huge in my household, like for me and my brother, because me and my brother used to spend countless hours back in the mid to early 2000s watching my stepdad play it all the time, all hours of the day. Because when he met my mum, he was quite young. He was like 20, 21, 22. Obviously, similar age to where I am now, and he had a big interest in video games. And me watching him play Halo, when I purchased my first console, it was Halo 3. Halo 3 came out a few months before COD 4. And I remember I think me and my brother got COD 4 on release, but we only had one copy between us. And it was only like a year later that either one of us went and purchased a second copy. Because obviously, then, I was only in like my first few years of high school or secondary school. So I didn't really have a job. I used to just do chores and get money for it and stuff. But COD 4 for me, I still remember to this day. I was on an old gamer tag that we won't speak of because it's quite embarrassing. But I was playing. I remember being in a lobby. Just I think it was like a regular domination. This was before like Ground War was super popular and everyone used to play that. I remember being in like a reg domination, and I was sort of quick scoping, but I wasn't. I was just sort of sniping, trying to get high kill games and trying up my KD and get better at the game in about 2000 and I think it was summer 2008 or 2009, but I remember being in a game and I remember getting an invite to join just someone's random lobby, and the game had just finished, and I remember accepting the invite on the old dashboard because the old dashboard was fucking so sick. I remember joining the invite, and I didn't really know what was going on. I joined, and I started. I noticed that everyone was sniping in the game. And at first, I thought, all right, I'll pull out a red gun. This is going to be easy lobby. I can get loads of kills. Everyone's sniping. And then I got loads of messages afterwards saying I just snipe only and stuff. And I was in one of my first snipe lobbies I was in with was a couple of people. One guy was called it's something like something Impulse in like 2009. I can't remember his full gamer tag, but I remember he was one of the few people that sent me a message, and I think he was the one who invited me to the game. But yeah, it just went on from there. I was being invited to sniper lobbies all the time after that. All the time. I was getting invites, and it just carried on for a few years.
Huge revolutionary game for the Call of Duty scene. It was the first COD that had creator class. So we could pick and customize our
loadouts.
Yeah. Loadout. You could have camos. It was perfect.
First year for perks as well, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Having different perks, yeah.
So obviously, that being the case, a lot of people were using snipers, and that's obviously where it came from. Quickscoping was pretty much not born there, because I know Call of Duty 2, I think quickscoping was born. As far as I'm aware, because it wasn't really a thing in Call of Duty 3. They sort of come off it a little bit, but obviously it came about. It was was it the first Infinity War? It was the first Infinity War.
I think it was, yeah, I believe it was.
Because I think the first 3 were Treyarch, or a company like it. I know COD 3 was Treyarch. But, you know, huge, and it changed everything for every Call of Duty. It became a game that we all wanted to play.
It was a center of attention for the. It was definitely the game that was really paid attention to towards the end of that decade, 2007, 8, 9, and then into the new decade. It was definitely a popular game. Like one of the first montages that I ever watched was a Blackouts montage, which was called Sickness HD, and I think that dropped somewhere in 2008, I believe. But it was one of the first videos that And it wasn't, nobody told me to watch it. I just stumbled across it when I was on YouTube on my home computer at the time, downstairs in our living room. I remember stumbling across it, and I was instantly hooked. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to try and make videos. And I didn't end up getting a Dazzle until 2010, and it wasn't even mine. It was someone, one of my friends who I borrowed it off of, and I was making just short videos. And I don't think I even started posting. I think my first posted video, which was on my old channel, which unfortunately I don't have access to anymore, and I can't seem to find it on YouTube anywhere, was me sniping for a team that I joined called ESK, and it was me getting a high kill quick scoping game on regular domination, not even in the sniper lobby, on Pipeline. And I wish I could find that video. It was one of my favourite videos. I just don't have it anymore. But yeah, that's what got me into all like trying to make videos and stuff and posting clips. And
so this was basically the Call of Duty that started it all for us as well. It was 100% massive for making videos. And like we were talking about Blackouts, I think the first video I watched of Blackouts was the genocide montage. Like,
what year was that?
10 years ago. I've just looked it up on YouTube.
Was it
V2 was 10 years ago.
Can you find Sickness HD? See what year that was.
Sickness HD, let's have a look. I don't think it's... Yeah, I don't think it's on YouTube anymore.
It is. It's still on YouTube, 100%. Yeah. Let me just see if I can find it. It's definitely on. It's definitely on YouTube, because I remember
the shooter montage. That was 11 years ago. I remember watching that.
Yeah, that was a good one, because
I remember seeing the. Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, going back.
We're coming off topic. Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the COD 4 especially for the community. COD 4 was huge. Like, it's like I say, it was almost the birth of the sniping community, and the community that a lot of people are still a part of today, and it completely revolutionized. Even I would go as far as to say it even revolutionized YouTube in a way, because that was such a big part of YouTube around that time, and YouTube had only been founded a couple of years before. So at the time, YouTube was a platform that was still growing, and a lot of attention. I wouldn't say the majority of the attention to YouTube came from Call of Duty, but we know a lot of attention came to YouTube through Call of Duty videos and montages and stuff. And it's what drew me to YouTube. I don't think... TV. I mean, I used YouTube a lot before, but it wasn't for anything like that. The center of my attention became Call of Duty videos. That was what I loved watching. And before that, I dabbled in a bit of Halo YouTube videos. Like Machinima was a big thing when Halo launched, Halo 3 launched at least. And I still remember, like I say, watching these montages, spending hours and hours of my days just watching Call of Duty 4 montages, trying to see if I could be that good one day and improve myself as a sniper.
We'll link. Dan's got on his personal channel has a playlist with a lot of Call of Duty montages, so we'll leave that in the description.
Yeah, I do. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember going through them a long time ago, and
there's 100 or 200 COD 4 videos.
There's a lot of montages on there.
I think I remember making that. Are they not? Are they most? But I remember making that because I wanted to. As an adult, I wanted to look back and
come back and have a look at them
and just reminisce of and see the growth, like see what Call of Duty montages were compared to what they are now. So it's kind of crazy to think that this is where we're at now versus what it was like all those years ago. And that brings me on to another tangent, but we'll. I was going to say about how Call of Duty brought a lot of people who were almost considered outsiders to play with their friends on games, but we touched on that in the previous episode, so I won't get into that too much. If you want to hear stuff about that, we talk about it in the previous episode. But
yeah, there is a playlist for all these podcasts, by the way. So if you missed the first one, missed the second one, missed any of the ones that we get up to, they're all going to be in that playlist.
There'll be timestamps as well, so you can go back and check and find that part that we just referred to in the previous podcast.
Yeah.
But
So
what
moving
did
on
we get to
to World
now?
at War.
Okay, very good
So
game. I love that game still to this day. Great game.
yeah, World at War is fantastic. Only issue with it is it's modded to hell right now.
Yeah,
It's
but
pretty
I
bad.
mean, you have to remember that game's 12 years old. We're in 2020 now. Like,
Yeah.
that game is 12 years old, and you'll be very lucky to get on that game and find a lobby where there isn't a hacker or. I mean,
Yeah.
we've
But
known that for a
very
long
fun
time.
game. It was a game that I didn't actually like. Me and Dan spoke about this before the podcast. Probably should have waited till we got into this. It was a game that we didn't get on release.
No, so I was probably one of the
Because
only.
Call of Duty, when we started making montages and stuff for COD 4, it was later on in life anyway. It was past the when the game first came out. Like I don't remember going for the release of COD 4. So obviously it was after, and that's when I sort of found World at War, probably about 6 months after it got released.
Yeah, same as me.
Very good game. Obviously, I like the older style, World War One, World War Two games. So very, very fun games. It introduced the Car 98 again from COD 3. It introduced the, like Lee Enfield.
Springfield.
Lee Enfield in there?
No,
Oh, no, Lee
Springfield.
Enfield. Springfield, yeah.
Yeah.
PTRS, it was like the first semi-auto sniper of the World War One, World War Two era of games. Because obviously you had the only other semi-auto sniper that we had in the Call of Duty scene before then was the Barrett from COD 4 and the Dragunov. Oh, and the
M21.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously guns we never used because
yeah, well, the
bolt
Barrett.
action.
Barrett I used a fair bit.
Barrett we used, yeah. But yeah, World at War, very, very good game. It was the last game. So there's something that we didn't talk about in COD 4, which were fantastic glitches.
Oh, bounces,
yeah.
100%. That was a game changer for a lot of people. People love bounces.
That was probably the birth of trick shotting.
In a sense, yeah, in a sense, because obviously we won't move on to Modern Warfare 2 yet, but yeah, Modern Warfare 2 obviously was trick shotting, but the original concept for that came from people for going out of map bounces on COD 4 and going for like 360 and jumping off buildings 720 and people across map, or just going for like a simple scoped bounce and stuff like that. I feel like that was the birth of trick shotting.
Yeah, it also helped that steady aim on COD 4 was
good,
quite effective.
Yeah, hip firing with a sniper was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like if you were close enough to hit him, you'd get him. Nowadays, you play it, you've got a maybe 20% chance of hitting a no-scope, even if they're point blank in front of you, which is kind of upsetting actually, because it's sort of like steady aim was a big part of it. Modern Warfare 2 had steady aim, but it wasn't.
Nobody ever really no-scoped on Modern Warfare 2 though, did they? Only when they were trick shotting.
It didn't feel the same because it was the YY of COD 4. If you don't know what I'm talking about, YY, it's literally you put your gun away and bring it back out fast enough. We call it YY.
You can almost empty a mag really quickly as well with a bolt action sniper rifle.
It was the first reload cancel in essence.
Yeah.
So back to World at War. Maps, very good maps. The only issue with that game is, which is blowing my mind till this day. I don't understand what they were thinking. COD 4 map packs. You downloaded them, you bought them, you had them, right? World at War, you'd be in a game of TDM. That game would finish. You've been playing, let me think of a Dome. And then the next game, you get a map that you don't have. And you get kicked from that game.
Yeah.
For not having the map pack. But it didn't give you an option. So say if, 80% of that lobby had the map pack and didn't vote to skip that map, and you're in the 20%, you're getting.
It used to send you back saying you do not have the map packs. But on COD 4, if you remember, if someone joined your game who had map packs disabled, it wouldn't find you a map pack game. You'd just search the regular lobbies. It used to say blah blah has map pack what was it? Variety map pack disabled. Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to find map pack lobbies.
So World at War, big issue with that.
Still the same
Did you
thing to
get?
this day. I don't have any of the map packs on World at War anymore, especially considering I've moved on to PS3 for like the old gen
Yeah,
CODs because it's more populated.
Because you'll struggle to get a lobby with
Mm-hmm.
map packs anyway. So if you did them, so there's no point of having them, and then you get punished because you don't have them. So it's a strange. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but obviously,
It was a
World at
fun
War,
game though.
very very good COD.
I just
I
wanted
enjoyed that one.
to wrap up because with my experience, I didn't get World at War. I didn't start playing until I'd say almost a year after it come out. It's probably like 8 months to a year, and I didn't even go on the multiplayer really. Me and my brother played a little bit of multiplayer, but it was all about split screen zombies for us. I'd just been. It was the same year I got introduced to the Call of Duty Force, like the sniping, sniper lobbies and stuff in like '08, beginning of '09. But I remember like me and my brother used to come back from school and just jump straight on zombies and play what was the original map called? Natcha
I've
and
never been
Totten or something like that. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know
I've never been a big zombies fan on any of the CODs, so
I fell in love with
it's
it for a
lost on
long
me.
time, and then I went back to COD 4, and my brother carried on grinding zombies on all the other CODs that began coming out at the time. But for World at War, overall out of 10, I give that game like a solid 8 or 9 because when I started revisiting it as the newer Call of Duties came out, I realised how much better the original Call of Duties were and how World at War was one of the best CODs to be released ever. It's definitely in
Yeah.
my top 5 CODs of the last 15 CODs to have come out, 100%.
Yeah.
Do you want me to lead us
Oh.
on to Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah, let's do it. Modern Warfare 2.
So, yeah, Modern Warfare 2, massive game, another revolutionary game for a certain side of the sniping community that became trick shotting. Of a lot of
Infinite
big
Warfare again, bringing out the second
Infinity Ward.
game in the franchise.
You
What did I say?
you said Infinite Warfare, Infinity Ward.
Did I? Infinity Ward. Sorry.
That's all right.
Obviously, their second game in the franchise and knocked it out the park for a second time and completely killed it. Modern Warfare 2 was huge. And it was the start of FaZe.
It was. That's what I mean. It was a birth of a lot of big teams like Optic. I know they had their original background came from COD 4. I know that because Hex was a massive COD 4 fan, the leader of Optic at the time. But Modern Warfare 2 was where Optic, FaZe, there used to be Saw were another one that all came out in like those were the three big names in sniping in like the 2010 to 2000. I'm going to say 2014 because that's when trickshotting stopped becoming Modern Warfare 2 trickshotting only lasted a few years, wasn't it? Like 4 years.
Yeah.
Like the teams still do it now, but it's nowhere near as celebrated and as big as it was then.
It's because a lot of it's set up now. At the time, it was all if you're in an S&D lobby, you kill all the people apart from
try
last,
and trick shot
everyone would go for a trick shot, and it got to a point because obviously I trick shotted briefly.
I did it
briefly.
for a long time.
I wasn't good at it. So as a sniper, it was extremely, and well, before I'd got into making videos. Sniping anyway, so I wasn't like going for clips or anything like that, but obviously playing S&D a lot with my IRL friends, it was extremely annoying to get to the end of an S&D match and get stunned 40 times, ready for them to jump off a building and try and kill me. But obviously massive game, and I actually hit one of my first clips on that game on S&D, and at the time I didn't know anything. I did and I didn't. I didn't know much about hitting clips. So high rise, we're talking 2010 maybe. And I'm looking out from spawn, S&D, just run forward on the side we can get on top of the roof.
Yeah.
And I aim down that sight and hit triple headshot. Shit you not, triple headshot before I recorded, before I did anything. And I didn't know anything about it, and everyone's screaming in the lobby and like, what did you just do? And I'm like, I just killed 3 people. Whatever. Didn't think anything of it. But today, I'd use that clip.
That'd be a banger.
That's crazy.
Today,
it's fucking triple headshot. That's fucking nuts. But yeah, huge.
There's actually a video and it's still on the internet, and I don't know if we're going to be able to find it to put it up on the screen for you. But I'll see what we can do. If we've got it, we'll put it in now. If we don't, then we'll just skip over this part. But back in 2011, when I had my Dazzle, I didn't have it set up though, because my first laptop at the time, I got a laptop a couple of years before that, it broke, so I couldn't record anything. But there's like a highlight video of like an open trick shot lobby, and I wasn't trick shotting per se because I wasn't very good at it, but I was going for like crazy cross map no scopes. And there's a clip of me in the video getting like a jump shot nosk across favela in an open lobby where we were just doing 6v6 private match, and obviously don't kill last. They set up for you and we go for trick shots and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And the guy at the time who hosted it was quite big in the YouTube. He was called Nerds360. I don't know if you remember him. He had his own sponsored banner. They were using a lot of videos, and he was the actual owner of this channel. And he was hosting open trick shot lobbies. Like, I think we did it for a whole week, a solid week. We were just going for like crazy shit. And he was going to make a highlights video, and he did post it a couple of months later on YouTube. Like I say, if we can find it, we'll put it up on the screen. But if we won't, we'll leave it. But I remember starting one of my first teams on Modern Warfare 2 in the end of 2011, early 2012, and they were called. I don't have the YouTube anymore because we had a falling out with one of the guys who ran the team with me at the time. The team was called Delusion Empire. You used to put a little D and a big E next to your name, and we were just going Modern Warfare 2 6-mans, grinding out for trick shot clips and going for like quad feeds in S&D and stuff. This is when I started to take a bit of break from the COD 4 sniping scene, and I started to really get into the enjoyment in the end, like 2011 trick shot. And obviously that's when FaZe were on the come up. They were huge. Optics had started posting montages on Modern Warfare 2. A little bit before that, you had M40A3 Predator post one of the most popular, and obviously that's where the magic bullet effect.
Yeah, that was
like where they did the little lock on, and then he'd like nosk it and he'd go woof. Yeah, the Predator effect.
We'll put that up here because I'd imagine there's a few people watching this that have not watched that, so we'll insert this here. Huge video.
Huge video, massive. And I believe he used Cell Dweller, the group Cell Dweller as a song, as the group for the music. But I remember that being a massive video. Even some of my friends at school, who I didn't even know were into Call of Duty and sniping, knew about that video. Like, they were like, "Oh, do you play Call of Duty?" Because obviously, as kids, a lot of people played Call of Duty as early teenagers, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-olds. A lot of people, Call of Duty was a mainstream game. If you had a console, most of the kids you went to school with played Call of Duty. But I remember Modern Warfare 2 being just like COD 4 in the terms that it revolutionized a different part of that of the sniping community. We then almost separated. We had the trick shot community, and then you had the sniping gameplay and clips community, and a lot of these people did both. I know I definitely did both. I had a lot of fun on both games.
It was never a division between us. We all knew what we were doing, and we all appreciated each other, basically, didn't we? We knew what we were making content on the same games.
Oh yeah.
And obviously different types of
content,
but
yeah, 100%. I believe that. Yeah.
I've just had a thought though. Like, Modern Warfare 2 was the game that you finished school, fucking rushed on. You wanted to jump on Modern Warfare 2, and you fucking loved it. You loved finishing school just to get onto Modern Warfare 2. But that brings me to a question. Do they still do it today for the current CODs, do you think?
I'd imagine a lot of kids would, yeah. Even adults like us, we wanted to rush home after work now. And yeah, Fortnite is we still rush home to jump on Modern Warfare, Warzone, or after work, or just jump on, have a few games with like our friend group. But I don't know.
But not to the point where we were, like, no. Every day.
My mum used to make sure I get back from school. She'd make sure all my homework was done, and then she said I could have a few hours in the evening on my Xbox until I go to bed. As long as I came down for dinner when I was called, I could jump back on. As if I had to have a bath before I went to bed when I was like 10, 11, 12 playing COD 4, then she would be like, "All right, go and have a bath, and then you can jump on your Xbox for a couple of hours." So for me, Modern Warfare 2 was one of those games where you get back from school. Like, at the time Modern Warfare 2 came out and it was popular in the trick shot community, I was doing my mock exams, and my mum was like, "If you do 3 or 4 hours of revision today, Obviously, with your exams, I remember you used to have like study leave and stuff, so you didn't have to go to school. You only went in and did your exams. And she was like, as long as you do 3 or 4 hours of vision, you can have a few hours on your Xbox once you're done. And yeah, I used to jump in on Modern Warfare 2 and play Ground War. That's when Ground War became more mainstream, I think, in Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And I played a lot of Ground War. I remember getting my first nuke. I was actually playing with Chris, one of our friends, not Irish Chris Connor, you know, other Chris.
Yeah, other Chris. Yeah.
We used to, we used to play. I used to play with him and one of my mates, Charlie, and we would jump on and we would sweat for nukes. There was a period of time where I stopped sniping and tried to get as many nukes as I can to get the achievement of calling in 5 nukes. Like you get the cool little spinning emblem, and I remember doing that and grinding that out. And Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4, I probably have
made it fun, didn't they?
Yeah. I think that's what. I think those two games
COD
what
4
made
had
me.
Them, but they weren't. The challenges.
It was camos, wasn't it? Not titles and emblems back then. But I remember those two games.
That's how you can see the progression of how it's come.
Oh
through the years. Like it went from camos to emblems to on Black Ops, which is the next game we're going to talk about. More camos. And titles and emblems. It became
100%.
Thingy.
Yeah.
And then Modern Warfare 3, the same titles and emblems. Then we get on to Black Ops 2. We'll get there eventually. We'll talk about it. But Black Ops 2 was the first pay. What's the word I'm thinking of?
It's not pay to win. Was it pay to win?
Not pay to win.
It was actually, yeah, because the Peacekeeper was we'll move on to this when we get there. We'll talk about that when we get there. But
I'm on about buying stuff. Started on Black Ops 2, you could buy you could buy camos and stuff like that, and it sort of ruined it. But we'll get there. Let's move on to Black Ops 1.
I just wanted to wrap up. Like, obviously, for me and Connor personally, I think. Well, speaking for myself, COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 were the two games that got me stuck in the never-ending cycle of playing Call of Duty every year on release. Because you want all the games to be like that, don't you? You want every release to be as enjoyable as one of the first games you played. But that feeling is, don't think for me, it was repeated. I had COD 4, World at War. World at War didn't do it for me. But then Modern Warfare 2 was almost like playing COD 4 again for the first time. So those two games.
That's the hope that we get. We play these alphas. Obviously, the alpha came out for
the betas and
Cold War, and we're hoping for that feel again. And we almost had it, like
a couple of times, definitely.
Modern Warfare got announced, and we're like, yes, this looks fucking awesome. They're going back to the roots. It's going to be, this similar story. And then it came out. But we'll get there. We'll do Black Ops 1, the original Black Ops.
Before we start Black Ops 1, I didn't have any interest in this game at all. I didn't play it, really, until a few years ago.
What, Black Ops 1?
Yeah, I skipped over that COD. I remember my friends all got it when it came out, my friends from school. And at the time, I didn't have any money to get it. I'd spent all my pocket money on just pointless shit. I didn't have any money to get that game. And I remember my friend played it for a little bit, and he didn't enjoy it. So I was like, do you want to borrow it? And I was like, yeah, all right. And I borrowed it for 2 days, gave it back to him, and didn't play it for 3 years. So I didn't start playing it until 2014, 2015.
See, Black Ops 1 for me was a big one. Obviously, it was the start of the Black Ops series. I'd left school 2010. I'd left school in the May, and I had a disagreement with my family, so I ended up moving out. I was 16 at the time. I had a disagreement with my family. I was actually living with a friend of mine, and we were so fucking hyped. We were playing Modern Warfare 2 non-stop at the time. We were in the same house playing Modern Warfare 2 together. And then I went to... Christmas was coming. Black Ops was already out. I didn't have money because I was living with my friend, and, he didn't have money because we were young. We weren't earning any money. We were working, but we didn't, see the point in buying anything like that. Apart from Xbox Live Gold, because it was,
It was cheaper back in them days.
Yeah, but it was the majority of my money was going on that.
Yeah.
But Black Ops 1 came, and he got his copy before me, before Christmas. They give it him early, and I'm like, I'm so upset. And he gets to play it on his own. And then they came into the room and passed me Black Ops 1, and we didn't stop playing that game for months. That game was it was huge. It was like the first of a new series, which obviously we had Modern Warfare 2, and then Black Ops was the first one. But obviously, the novelty wore off. I didn't really play it for this. I did snipe, but it was the first one that was different for scoping. It's like they'd tried to ruin snipers from there.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Because I didn't play it doesn't mean I didn't watch it. I watched M48-3 Predator fucking do 1v1s and shit on people and post single gameplays back in like 2010, 2011 time, like early 2011. And I remember they patched the L96, the way it scopes in, so it was a lot more difficult for people to snipe. And I remember watching M48-3's like class setup video on what you should have on your gun, and I think that was where variable zoom was like super popular because it was easier to snipe with, or saying the hit registration was better, so on and so forth.
It was sort of the aim bounced up. It was kind of weird. It sort of went,
the recoil was strange, but like I say, I didn't have much experience on that game until a few years after the release. I didn't
much the same.
I didn't play much of it at all. Like I say, I borrowed it for 2 days, played it, hated it, gave it back. That was my original opinion. But now I played a lot on PS3, and I actually realised how much fun that game is. Like the PSG one, the L96. I think as I've got older, I've got a little bit more appreciative of how good the snipers actually are on that game,
and it was
and
the
how
second
easy
one
it
to
is.
be. It was the second one to be cross-platform on
backwards compatible.
Backwards compatible. Sorry,
it was. Yeah, it was the second COD. Yeah,
Xbox One. Yeah, and the thing I remember the most about it, there was I think a few guys watching this, or a few girls watching this, sorry, watched Machinima back in the day, and Machinima had a series called How to Annoy, and it was an Irish guy, and he'd go on Black Ops 1, and he'd trap people in corners and just talk shit to him. Sounded very much like our friend Chris, like similar accent, and they were some of the funniest videos. If I can find a clip, I'll put it in. It'd make people talk to sinks. Just to let him out, like ask the sink if I'll let you go, and it was the funniest thing. And obviously content creation around this time was at its it was started to build a bit of momentum. Content creation, like, Call of Duty, not just sniping, not
funny
just gameplays,
content,
cutcoms and stuff like funny content started.
You had like
and
only. Sorry, you carry on. No, I was going to say you carry on. So I'll pick it up because I was going to lead right off where you were talking. You carry on.
Yeah, it's sort of where the whole funny side of gaming for me started, because you're talking like KYR Speedy and his friends.
Oh yeah, shit, I forgot about that. Suda, yeah.
Suda used to do Black Ops gameplays, and it all branched off from there. The comedy side, you can see how the content creation sort of started building outwards from these.
From Call of Duty alone, you had funny videos, trick shotting videos, sniping videos, and I remember. Do you remember the noob videos, like super noobs? Do you remember those videos on Modern Warfare 2 where they troll people with riot shield and it's like, boom, headshot, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, and that's I remember it all started.
There was Only Use My Blade, Joker. Do you remember Joker?
Yeah.
The guy used to have that really scary voice and just like troll people with tack knives and shit and mess about with noob tubes and one man army stuff. He was
ninja diffusing as well. That was a big thing.
That's another side of it. Like, and again, that was a trolling thing, wasn't it? But BO1 for me. Now I appreciate it a lot more now, but on release I couldn't care less about the game. I really couldn't, but now I appreciate it a lot more. Actually, being a super enjoyable Call of Duty.
Right, let's move on to Modern Warfare 3, the third installment of Infinity Ward's.
Finally, a game that came back to good sniping. After we had Black Ops 1, we were given one of the best sniping games, in my opinion. Modern Warfare 3, the sniping.
The last one, where you could still stack your points to make it a better clip, like get a multi-kill and like in the new COD now, you get it says like 8 multi-kill. That's not a multi.
You can get that
in 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's called a chain killer, isn't it? A chain kill or whatever, where you're killing people quickly, but the multiplier lasts like 10 seconds between kills. But Modern Warfare 3 Great game. A lot of
Huge.
memories. That was the first one my stepdad. No, it wasn't. It was the second one he got, and he got it on release, and I had to wait a few months to get it. And I remember sitting on his Xbox and playing it.
We got given 2 very good bolt action snipers, which was a huge part of it because
Oh yeah,
obviously Modern Warfare 2 we only had the intervention. We didn't have any bolt actions other than that, did we?
it was Intervention and Barrett were people's main
Yeah.
runs on that game.
But then you'd have Call of Duty World at War had a lot of bolt actions. COD 4 we had the M40 and we had the R700. Perfect snipers. Apart from the R700 hit market a little bit too much. Modern Warfare 2, we only got given 1 real bolt action sniper. Black Ops, the original
Yeah,
Black Ops.
DL96, that was it.
Yeah, that was it. And it was a good bolt action rifle, but then we go to Modern Warfare 3 and we got given the L11 and the
MSR, which is almost like being
fantastic.
COD 4 and getting the R700 and the M40, because you had the MSR, which hit market a little bit, but it was fast as fuck, and then you had the L11, which was definitely a one-shot kill no matter what, like where you shot them, like 99% of the time. So that was like the M40 of COD 4 was the L11 on Modern Warfare 3. But I don't really.
Yeah, it's where a style of sniping came from called reload cancelling. Obviously, obviously, like I said earlier on, COD 4 had a reload cancel, but you could only really nosk doing it.
You could quick scope, but yeah, it was a lot harder. But I don't think it became like a mainstream clip hitting thing until Modern Warfare 3 had already established it.
Yeah,
everyone would YY on COD 4.
It was such a strange fucking animation as well on NW3 because you sort of flip your gun up, take the mag out, bring it back down, shoot, same again. And it was such a strange animation, but it worked, and you can multi with it. And when people found out they could multi with it, they went fucking nuts.
I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Pomage was the first one to get one, and then a lot of people followed. You had Blue doing it, and you had like people in teams like Raw and Envy was obviously big in Modern Warfare 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm sure Pomage was, or Sprat, it must have been one of these big names. I'm sure it was, because I don't remember seeing. Well, it was the first video. There might have been someone who had already done it before then, but I'm pretty sure the first video I saw was a Pomage video of him getting multis with the L11 or Blue. It was someone who was a big name back in the day.
There's something we didn't talk about in Modern Warfare 2 that they brought back for Modern Warfare 3, and they were better in Modern Warfare 3 actually. If you ask for my opinion. Tack inserts. Tack inserts for us were because they pop quicker. I'm saying in Modern Warfare 3.
They only popped quicker if you used. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, they did. They did. They
pop really quick. You just do that and then you throw it down. It was. I think it was it Quick Draw that made it go quicker.
Yeah, I think it was one of those perks. And you do it really quick and you drop it. It was super quick. Yeah. But yeah, Modern Warfare, from my memories in that game, I remember it was my first year at college when that game dropped. And I remember all my it was my first year at college, 2011. I just finished school. I started college in the September of 2011, and obviously I was still a big COD 4 head and Modern Warfare 2 head back then. And when they announced Modern Warfare 3, that was huge. It was all anyone talked about at my college. Everyone talked about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. All my friends were like, "Are you getting your copy yet? Are you getting your copy?" I was like, "I'll have to wait till after Christmas, or if I get any money for Christmas, I'll buy it in the January sales and I'll play it." But I remember getting it in January or February of the following year after watching everyone play it and playing it on my stepdad's Xbox.
Yeah.
And it was such a revolutionary game. Again, it was another game in the series where sniping was so much fun, and there was
I've still got all the copies. I've just realised.
I don't think I still have. I have the disc lying about. Here you go. Have you got the disc?
For NW3? Yeah, it's inside here.
I got the disc still. Still a great game. I still play it to this day. 100% great game.
I've still got all the Call of Duties still on disc until we went into the newer ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, Modern Warfare 3, another huge game. The maps were fantastic. It was the first time they brought back a map from a previous COD as well.
Terminal.
They brought back Terminal, and obviously, if you're into Call of Duty, you know Terminal's been used a hell of a lot more times than just that one, but it was the first time they did it. Obviously, Modern Warfare 2 was so revolutionary that there was maps coming back from that one. And obviously Black Ops did it as well. Black Ops ended up bringing Nuketown back in their next few CODs. But obviously Terminal was a huge one. I think it came back in Modern Warfare 3. It came back in Advanced Warfare. Not Advanced Warfare.
No, it came back in Infinite Warfare.
And it's due to come back, from what I hear, in Modern Warfare.
It was the first map that was recycled. Yeah, it was the first map that it was a fan favorite map, and obviously, like I say, it had so many cool maps. Like one of my favorite maps was Downturn. You had Interchange. You had what else did we have on that game? Off the top of my head, Resistance was another fan favorite, like the one that's set in France.
The French one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. What else did you have? You had Carbon, which was like a fan-hated map, the drop zone and like the 6v6 maps, and then you had Village, which was another one of my favorite maps. There was so many good maps on that game. Was almost a perfect iteration of the Modern Warfare series. Great weapon balance.
I'm sure it was the first one to have a proper good DLC, like amount of DLC maps as well.
Oh yeah, I got the DLC as it came out for that game. I love the DLC.
Black Ops 1 had DLC, but they weren't the best.
No, I don't know about that.
Modern Warfare 3, obviously DLC came out. It was
and we got a lot of free DLC as well. Modern Warfare 3 was the first game. Terminal was free; you didn't have to pay for it. Free DLC that we got, and then you got a bunch of special. I don't think there was another free multiplayer map, but they gave us loads of free Spec Ops maps because obviously Spec Ops was still big from Modern Warfare 2 days, so they brought it back.
Yeah,
and I remember. Doing the download for Terminal, and a couple months later they were like, "Oh, we've just given you 10 free Spec Ops maps," and I was like, "Holy shit! I have something to sit down and play with my brother or my stepdad. We can grind out these Spec Ops missions, get 3 stars." And yeah, that game was just so much fun. That was one of I think that was the first COD other than COD 4 that I played from the start of the cycle to the end of up until Black Ops 2 came out. I played it from start to finish. Obviously, we're still going back to play COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2. But it was the first game that I played through the whole year, through the summer, because it was my summer where I left school and I grinded it, same as COD 4. Oh, it was nuts. It was so much fun.
So we'll transition now, because you've said Black Ops 2. We'll go on to Black Ops 2, which was the next in the series. Another huge revolutionary game, especially for trick shots. This one was more founded for... trick shotters were founded on this one. It was huge because you could do insta swaps, you could do other things that I have no idea what I'm talking about because I'm not a trick shotter.
Is it knack swapping?
You could knack on Modern Warfare.
I remember doing the thing where I remember seeing a lot of trick shotters doing the same thing. They use a shock charge and you span, and then the shock charge flipped, and then they swapped to their other gun all of a sudden. Do you remember seeing that?
That was a.
Is that insta swapping?
That's insta swapping, but you can do it with different things. I do it with a grenade. Because me and Dan played this game yesterday, in fact, on PC, riddled with hackers now. So
it's horrible. It's not a good time. But it was just
on console as well.
I think it was just a reminiscent kind of thing. After talking about Call of Duties in our previous podcast, we got a little bit of a horn towards towards the old games again, because it's
we're going to do the same after this one. As soon as we've played this, we're going to play loads of old school CODs. It's going to be a lot of fun. We might even do a couple of videos on some old CODs in the future.
Yeah, we could do some clip races and stuff like that. I think we're probably. Well, I don't know if we're going to bring it to this channel. I think we're going to keep this channel podcasts and tech related stuff. But
we will tell you about it, that you can go out and watch it.
We love talking about Call of Duty. Is a big passion for us, and we love talking about games. Yeah. So this is where it's going to be at for the foreseeable future.
Anyway, Black Ops 2. Another good game for bolt action snipers until
Mr. Vondy. Mr. Vondy.
David Vonderhaar. So we had a fantastic sniper.
We had two fantastic snipers. We had two.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Oh my god.
Huge gun in the industry. DSR, very, very quick for quick scope, and it was fantastic. And it was almost a one shot every time. Every single time.
Pre-patch DSR. Pre-patch
Easily one
DSR.
of the best
Oh my
guns
god.
in the
Nuketown
series.
24/7. Pre-patch DSR. I would jump in, go for the spawn snipe every game. If I miss, no problem. I bolt in fucking half a second, take my second shot. Man,
And
those.
then,
Oh, so much
and then
fun.
the games started to fuck us.
Yeah.
They decided that snipers were the enemy at this point. DSR got patched, so you're bolting in slow as fuck.
And that's when
they brought
reload
the-
cancelling came back as well.
It did,
Thanks
yeah,
to the
reload cancelling.
pre-patch, everyone started
Obviously-
reload cancelling.
Obviously, people learned how to reload cancel with the L11 on Modern Warfare 3. They thought, oh, DSR, and you know, the DSR turned into this good weapon again, because if you hit a reload cancel,
It was almost immediately, wasn't it, after they patched it, that people found a way to reload cancel and shoot quicker. It was almost because people, I feel like people knew that the gun was too good to be true and that they were going to patch it, so they were already figuring out ways to counter the patch.
And that's the thing that I'm quite proud of this community for doing. As soon as they do something to us wrong, we find a way around that shit. We find our way to continue to do it.
I think that's where the community started to become a little less toxic around Modern Warfare 2 days. Like, people, I met a lot of friends through BO2 as well, like, who unfortunately don't still play to this day, but BO2 was such a great game. It was one of my favourite games. Again, that's another game in my top 5, but BO2 was...
Another game where attack inserts were in, where we quick. I just remembered that Black Ops 1 had attack inserts.
It
I
did.
mentioned Modern Warfare 2, but they were like, it looked like a roll-on deodorant.
It did. It had the two...
You'd pop it at the bottom, you'd put it on, and you put it on the floor, and you'd respawn on that. But it took that long that if you put it down, you've been killed, and you've been killed again because you spawned off attack.
You took the lid off, didn't you? But then you turned the thing upside down, you put the lid on the bottom, and then you pushed the button on the top and dropped it.
Something
I'm sure,
like that, yeah. It was such a strange...
I don't think I ever used it. I don't think I ever used it.
It was the same on Black Ops 2. They put something off the bottom and put it on...
No.
Put it on the bottom.
You opened up the Black Ops 2 and you punched in a button and the top flipped out and the green light came out the top, then you drop it.
Is that how it did it?
Yeah.
Anyway, the iterations on attack inserts were quite amusing, actually. But I'm pretty sure Black Ops 2 was the last one to have them.
Ghosts didn't have them. Advanced Warfare, I'm not sure. I didn't play much of that. Then we had Black Ops 3. Did it not? No, we didn't, because we've been playing it, haven't we?
Played it yesterday.
Yeah, there's no attack inserts BO3. Then what did we get after BO3?
World War 2 was the next one.
Oh yeah, but we will talk about that because that's a triggering subject for me.
Black Ops 2, back onto that. Obviously, very good game for us snipers. Raid was fantastic. The spawn sniper on Raid was so good. You could wall bang a triple through that wall.
And the fact that they brought back Nuketown 2025. Oh my god, Nuketown was a fan favorite. I 100% believe that in the Black Ops series through Treyarch.
Do you think they'll bring it? Do you think they'll bring it to Cold War?
To Cold War, yeah, I believe they will. I have faith that they will. It's been a few years. When did they bring it back last?
Black Ops 4.
Was it
Black Ops 4? Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I suppose it's been 2 years. I mean, it's been 2 years since they made a COD, so they have to bring it back. They've got to.
Yeah.
And if not, what map would you like to have come back from BO2 into the new Treyarch game? I would like to see Raid.
Black Ops 1.
No, from any of the Black Ops series. I would like to see Raid come back.
Well, Raid they've brought back.
Yeah,
Raid
but
was in Black Ops 3.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like a Roman look to it.
Oh, but it was DLC. I'm talking bringing back.
DLC, yeah.
I'm talking bringing it back as a normal map in a free DLC download. Yeah. I would like to see Raid, or what was that other map I really like on BO2?
Hanoi was good on Black Ops 1.
Yeah, it's a bit big though.
Yeah, a little bit big.
Grind. That, even though that was DLC BO2, that map was fucking sick. They brought that back on BO4.
Black Ops 4, yeah, that'd be a good one.
I would love to see that come back. Venice Beach, skate park. But yeah, we're drifting off again.
We're drifting. We do this too much. But on to one of actually my favourite Call of Duties. Not everyone else's favourite. I know it's one of your favourites as well, Dan.
I could talk about this game all day.
Yeah, me and Dan loved Ghost.
It was also
we got slated for it.
before we get into the game, it was also the first Call of Duty to have dual rendered scopes. So when you look down your scope, you can still see the map around the outside of your scope. Every other COD was black screen when you scoped in, like it was all blacked out.
It was,
So
yeah,
that
right.
for me made the sniping look so cool, and I was just hooked after
It
that.
real.
It did, yeah. I got hooked into that game. Admittedly, I don't think me or Connor played the game when it came out because we saw where the kill feed was in the trailer, and we were like, nah.
We hated it.
We hated it. It was like, what the fuck is that?
Obviously, it gets to the point where the COD gets so cheap after you said, no, I'm not playing it, to the point where you go, well, it's only, tenner.
I think how much? I think I got it for 22 quid. I think we got it when it halfway through the next year, wasn't it?
Yeah, around about that. But fantastic COD. I loved it. I loved every minute of Ghosts. And it's such a shame because I'd love to go back and play it now, but it's so dead. And the only people who do play it is all the snipers.
It's
and
PS3.
The first COD.
PS3
it's
is
the first
still
COD.
popping.
Yeah, but it's full of snipers though, isn't it?
Not really, no.
Is it not?
No.
Interesting.
It's so much fun.
Anyway, it's the first COD which playing against other snipers became a tiresome job. Like, it was disgusting. I hated playing against other snipers.
Yeah, me too.
We turned into sort of ratty people. Like, we wanted to be the best at that game, so we'd, try our best. And it got to the point where you could buy a character skin, which was skinnier, so that you didn't have to get hit as bad. It was the first one where thermal was actually pretty decent.
I mean, you had Modern Warfare 2, but the thermal, in my opinion, on that game wasn't really that good unless you were close range. It was
really bulky. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas it was such clean outline on Ghosts.
Apart from on the new gen, it was the first COD on new gen as well.
It was, yeah. It was released with the Xbox One. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So it was weird. The thermal scope was blurry on new gen.
One. Yeah, that was weird.
It was so strange. Why they change it in such a drastic way for a new generation COD. But very, very good game. We got given 2 bolt actions, which were fantastic.
L11 and the USR, which is an iteration of the MSR.
Yeah. And the L11 is just basically a carbon copy of
the L11 from Modern Warfare 3.
From NW3. And then we got given 2 bolt action, not bolt action,
semi-autos.
The Lynx and the
VKS. Yeah.
And also very good. Obviously, the standards were different on them because they were
semi-autos, but we used whatever the fuck we wanted anyway, didn't we? We didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It was just too much of a good
VKS
time.
was silence, which was strange.
Integrated silenced one-shot weapon, may I add, the first to ever be in a game.
It was fantastic. It was such a good gun. The amount of 5-on times, God knows what.
I hit one of my best clips. It was like a 5. I remember the game had only been out 6 months, and I was playing with you and Jakey, and I hit that 5-on times 3, and there's you and Jakey screaming.
We was like, what? How is he hitting this? And I also hit one of the first 10. I don't know how many, because I remember looking for YouTube trying to find if anyone else had hit him. I hit one of the first, I'd say one of the first 5 6-ons, bolt action 6-ons on that game.
You did, yeah. Yours was the first one. Yours was one of the first I saw. I saw there was one other person who I saw, and it was Blue. FaZe Blue.
It was the only one on Prison Break at the time.
It was the only one hit on that map.
The only other person who hit one was JMR.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw one from Blue, but you hit that halfway through the year because obviously everyone wrote Ghosts off, didn't they? And a lot of people just played it because it was the new Call of Duty, and a lot of snipers tried to be good at that game and they wanted to play it because it was the newest thing, and if they make a good montage on it, it will help pull views in and they'll get popular, so on and so forth. But we didn't play it because of that. We played it because we absolutely loved the game. The game was... Yeah. It was a wonder for us. The sniping was fantastic. The movement was great. The maps were fucking... It's insanely good.
Even though they'd flip the kill feed to a different spot, it was the last one with a proper 6-on kill feed. They went down to 5-ons, 5-on only from there.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you had what came after Ghosts, but Advanced Warfare. You could get a 5-on the screen anyway, and then what did we get after that? But Black Ops 3, which
Black
was
Ops 3
sick,
went
you
to
could get
5
six.
only.
No, 6. It
You
went
couldn't
to
get 6.
Could you not get 6?
No. You could
And
get a 7 on Ghost, actually.
no, yeah, you
8
could.
on Ghost. It was the highest amount of kills, actually, because I remember if you got like a chem strike, which was the alternative to a nuke by that COD, you could get 8 on screen. Obviously, quite hard to get. You'd have to get like a quad feed into a quad to get an 8 on in that game, because the kill feed was so
I'd
quick.
seen a 7 on with a red gun on that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it was the last one to have the proper 6 on. Collat Ender, it'd pop onto the screen for a second and then it'd go off. In fact, my 6 on stayed on for quite a while. Well, it went down to a 5 on for quite a while because I hit a triple ending 6 on.
yeah. But that game was so...
I loved it.
Oh, it was the last COD I thoroughly enjoyed start to finish and carried on playing for a few years afterwards.
And I'll still go back today. Now Dan said the PS3 lobbies aren't full of snipers.
They're so good, man.
I actually have to purchase a PS3.
And dabble in it. It's good. It's good for your health, playing Ghosts.
Right. This is where it gets bad, though.
This is where we go downhill. Are we going to talk about these ones? I mean, we're just over the hour mark now.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Should we just do this episode as the COD one, and then we'll leave the other ones for the next podcast? We'll do that.
Yeah. We've got some other topics we wanted to cover, but we'll just make this one a strictly a Call of Duty one, because we know most of our following love.
We're in 2013. We've still got another 7 years to talk about yet. So yeah, we'll keep this one to Call of Duty, and then we'll talk about the other stuff next podcast. So, the next one was where we started to go really. The dynamic of COD changed massively.
Yeah, what was it? Advanced Warfare we're talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
And before I get into that, it was terrible for the sniping community, and the game didn't look good and no one liked it. But in a separate category, that's when the Call of Duty esports started taking off.
Yeah, it started really taking off. Yeah,
and that was that was the year, I believe,
Sensor got into it.
Yeah, Optic won the CWL that year, COD World League. I'm sure they did. But yeah, we won't go. We can save. We can talk about esports on another topic for another.
Yeah, because that was gonna be one of the topics for today.
That was gonna be a talking point for me today. Yeah.
Esports.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll jump into that
in a future episode, 100%.
I tell you what, we will do, because we did have a note on the new one, Cold War. We will say that at the end of this episode, because by the time this episode airs, it'll be about a week till the beta comes out. So
yeah.
So
that sounds good.
So Advanced Warfare. Well,
I have nothing to say about that game. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because I hated that COD.
It was the first COD that had advanced movement in it. There was jetpacks. They weren't full on jetpacks. We've got to appreciate the fact of a later COD that we're about to sort to the COD that we're about to jump on after this podcast, which is odd, just because why not? It was the first one with jetpacks.
Mm-hmm.
Advanced movement, you could sort of thrust forward, which obviously, if you're, as a sniper's point of view, if you're trying to aim at someone and they jet off to the right, that's going to become a lot harder. And then they give us the only good bolt action sniper they give us. You had to single reload it.
Yeah,
put a bullet in and bolt it before you shot, and then another bullet, bolt it, shot.
I have a funny story about this game. So obviously the trailer came out, the first COD with advanced movement. I thought, it might actually be a really good change. That might be a good move for the Call of Duty to move in this direction. Obviously, it was still super popular. Call of Duty saw it as a success. I talked about it before, about Modern Warfare, and in my opinion, it was a failure. Advanced Warfare, in my eyes, from my point of view, in the guns I use, that game wasn't the game to play. So in my eyes, that was a failure for me personally.
The kill feed was disgusting.
Yeah, but
headshot. What was the headshot?
Oh thing? God, let's not even. Let's not get in.
Now it's so ugly. What is that? It's just so gross.
But my story,
changed as well, which was kind of
it
weird.
did. But my story was so I pre-ordered the game when it came out, and there was some confusion with our delivery service, Royal Mail. They said they delivered it, but I never received it. So I had to wait a month for them to investigate it, and I paid £29 for the game on release because Sainsbury's had it on an instant offer when it came out. So I ordered it from Sainsbury's, and the game didn't come. Long story short, in January of 2015, I finally got my copy, and I was like, right, I'm so excited. I've watched some videos. I watched someone hit a triple where all three people were at. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I had to wait ages to get the copy of the game, and I wasn't spending another 30 quid to get it again. So I waited for them to investigate and then send me a free copy if they lost it, which they did. But I remember getting it, and at the time, obviously, it came out for 2 consoles. You had it for 360 and the Xbox One.
Yeah, because obviously
the one was
the Xbox One.
Yeah, so obviously the one was the newer gen console, and at the time I didn't have a one. I still had the 360. Anyway, I got the game, and I was so excited to get on. My brother had already got it. He was playing it, and he was playing the zombies on it and stuff, and he was loving the game. He said it was really good for zombies. He didn't play much of the multiplayer. But I was like, I got on, played my first game. After that, started playing a few games. I hit my first 5 on, I think, on my 4th game, and I was like, holy shit, this game is so good. And then I realised how terrible the movement was. 3 days later, I traded in the game at CEX.
It was bulky. It was sort of like it's supposed to be fluid movement, and then you're on a jetpack where you fly forward, and if you fly forward, you boost forward, you're going to carry on floating till you get to the floor. But no, it did, and then you'd stop, and then sort of come down after that. It sort of thrusted you, you'd stop, and then you come back down. Like how, like what were the physics in that? And speaking of, on the first podcast, we spoke of Dr. Disrespect and the fact that he'd, the recent controversy with him, and he was actually one of the multiplayer map designers.
He was also the community manager as well.
Yeah, which is mad to think of.
Are you sure it was Advanced Warfare? I'm pretty sure it's Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah. No,
he did. Modern Warfare 3. He was a community manager, and then he went on to moved up in the world and became a map designer for
multiplayer map designer for Advanced Warfare. The game was terrible.
This is just our opinions. If you guys like that game, we have nothing against you liking that game. We just personally, through personal experiences, we did not like that game whatsoever. It was such a bad Call of Duty, in my opinion.
It's one of them games where I can appreciate it a bit more now from what we've seen since then.
Yes.
So obviously, there's a COD we'll come up to, which is the next COD actually, that we'll come up to. The next COD and the COD after that, which sort of was worse for me. So I can go back. I'd go back and play Advanced Warfare. I think I did actually while I've lived in this house, which is less than, I reckon it was during lockdown. While we were in lockdown, I played a bit of Advanced Warfare on my Xbox One.
Did you?
The 360 version, yeah. So I went on the 360 version because all of the CODs about was compatible now on the Xbox One. So I jumped on the 360 version, still populated, funnily enough. But yeah, I could appreciate it more now. I could go back and play it. Still would rather play earlier CODs.
100%, yeah.
Not the worst COD, in my opinion. Not the worst.
I think
bad.
It is. I think it's in my bottom 3. 100%. I'm not a fan. I don't think there'll be.
Yeah, it's in my bottom 5. Let's say.
I don't think
I'd still play it.
I don't think I'd ever go back and revisit that game. That was one of the worst experiences on Call of Duty that I ever had. Same as BO1. Yeah. I put BO1 in that. Well, actually, I've appreciated more of BO1 in recent years, but Advanced Warfare, I think that game is it's going to stay at the bottom of my list, 100%.
Yeah, just weird movement, and the difference between because it was the first proper one. So what happened with Ghost was Ghost came out for the 360, but the Xbox One wasn't made yet. So then they made the Xbox One, and they built a new engine for Ghosts, which was good. It was a good game on Xbox One.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
fast forward to Advanced Warfare, they stopped giving a shit about Xbox 360, so they made the version of the Xbox 360 Advanced Warfare
Oh,
terrible.
absolute
It was
trash.
so disgusting.
Oh, it
And
was
you go
horrible.
on new gen, and it looked beautiful. It looked like a new generation COD. Now that brings us on to Black Ops 3 because they did the exact same on Black Ops 3. They didn't give a shit. They even give it to
Oh
a different
man.
company to
But
make it.
I
Do you
got
remember?
BO3 when it came out on the
On
Xbox
360.
360, and
Yeah,
it
because you didn't
looked.
have a one at the time.
I didn't know, and I remember you did, didn't you? You got yours
Yeah.
about a year or two before me, and I remember watching you play it and then looking at or I think it was on Skype. You were showing me it. I'm sure it was on Skype. So
Yeah.
and I remember
And it
sitting
just
there
wasn't finished.
playing it, and it was like the game had been developed by the same people who make Lego. The game was so blocky and square. The graphics were not even given a shit about. All the kill feed, all the HUD on the screen looked different. Oh,
it was so dull. Like,
it was boring.
Black Ops 3 was a very vibrant, bright game. And then you went on the 360 version, and it was like playing RuneScape, just darkness. And it was so strange. But a COD as a whole, the movement was a lot more fluid than Advanced Warfare, but still, you know from the backlash that they got, Call of Duty got, we hate the jetpack situation. So
we're boots on the ground
it?
lovers. We like the boots on the ground Call of Duty 100%.
So why do it again? And they did it, and obviously we found out later on in the years that it takes them a lot longer than just a year to develop a COD. So they're developing this when
Ghosts was out, yeah. They what do they call them? 2 and 3 year cycles. So they make a game, release it. I'm assuming the staff probably take a fair bit of time off because obviously working on a game that's in development for 3 years, you're going to want to take a few months off. And then they start the next one in, say, 2015. It's not going to be released until 2017, 2018. But then that's why they've got two companies, because they can release them yearly while they get 2 years to make the next COD, so on and so forth, don't they? That's how it works.
The good thing is, we got to think about it that way, is they could be working on Modern Warfare 4 right now.
Yeah, we don't know.
Could be. We don't know what they're working on, which is great. But at the same time, for feedback purposes, they didn't hear about the feedback from Advanced Warfare properly because they'd already started making Black Ops 3. And they thought, oh, this advanced movement, oh, they're going to love it. When I can't shoot someone in the sky. I mean, I can, but it's harder.
It's a lot harder. It makes sniping difficult, 100%. But then
it was a very like, you had to, like, that game was like, if you were on acid, you'd have a good time.
We don't condone that. Don't take acid and play BO3.
Don't take drugs, okay? Anyway, it had a map that sort of went up. Like, there was buildings on the wall. It was so strange of a game. And it introduced new game modes like Fractured. And like, going back now, like, me and Dan are going to play
I think it was the first game with the ball, where you throw the ball.
Yeah.
What was that called? Uplink, where you throw it and someone catches it and you have to run to the objective and you stand in there. Yeah, that was sick. I remember that. That was the first game to have that sort of... Wait, did Advanced Warfare have that? I don't think they did they?
No. Ooh. Possibly.
Anyway, even if they did, it's the only game I remember them having a ball in. And then we got it in... Infinite Warfare got it, and World War II got it, called Gridiron, where you throw the ball But we'll move into those. But Black Ops 3 was, again, a game for me. I hated it on release, but it's a game that I've revisited in the last couple of years, and I found it more enjoyable.
The last couple of days, we were on it last night, and we're probably going to play it after this podcast, after we recorded this podcast.
But again, it's a game we can't really talk about because we didn't really play it much, did we? We barely touched that game.
Nuketown again.
Awful.
Nuketown on this game was terrible. It just took line of sight off anything. You could run across the wall. That was another thing they brought in, running across the walls. They didn't have that in Advanced Warfare.
Wall running was the Garbo move. But then I'm super biased because Infinite Warfare is one of my top 3 games of all time.
Yeah, but it brought in... it was like a free running type. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, the assault courses. Yeah.
You had to like run in that had a big impact on YouTube. I remember FaZe Apex doing videos like that, and he was blowing up off him. running like trying to do these things in a certain time, which was obviously a good thing for YouTube again. But no, in my opinion, what is bottom 3 again?
Yeah, BO3 is not. It wasn't a great game at the time, but then like YouTube. No matter what Call of Duty came out, YouTube followed the same trend, I feel like. Everyone still loved watching it, no matter what game it was.
Yeah.
I feel like there were some videos where people made montages on just Advanced Warfare, and a lot of people weren't fans of the game, so the montages didn't do that well. But I feel like anyone who could master the movement in Advanced Warfare and BO3 and hit banger clips, I have the utmost respect for those people, because those games were hard, man. They were hard. 100%. They were difficult games to play with the movement that we had.
The biggest thing for me was Call of Duty sort of hit this niche with colours. The more colours you add in, the more vibrance, brought in a bigger crowd, younger generation wanted all these colours. And you can see it now on games that are coming out these days, like Fortnite, full of colours, full of vibrance. Player base is literally all younger generation, kids wanting to play.
It's like my sister.
It's
she's the generation below her. My sister, she's 16, about to turn 17. She is addicted to that game. She loves it, and she has played it for like the last 2 or 3 years since it come out almost.
But you see how Call of Duty sort of hit this niche of colours from Advanced Warfare to Black Ops 3, and it all started carrying on, like colours.
Infinite Warfare,
more bright.
The colours in Infinite Warfare. The game was not dull. The game was a beautiful game.
It's been copied by so many games. So Fortnite's done it. H1 was quite bright and vibrant, but that didn't really have a kids base. Valorant is just a CS:GO rework with colours and you know what I mean. It's sort of stemmed off. It's snowballed off Call of Duty starting it. And I think they've revolutionised the way that they're bringing their audience in. They're bringing a younger generation in just by a slight alteration of colour.
But you say that, the age rating of the games, 18. Kids aren't supposed to be playing them. But
they
how many of the parents...
they're going to be playing?
How many parents go out and don't care about the age rating and be like, their kid be like, can I have this? And they're like, yeah, have it. You can play that.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't affect their attitude. That's another thing that we could talk about in a future podcast, how people believe that video games make people more violent.
Yeah, and egotistical. And
yeah. But Black Ops 3, wasn't a fan of, didn't really play it too much.
They brought that like famous sniper in as well.
Oh, the PO6.
It was like a 3-round burst sniper, which was so strange. Like, why on earth would we want
In my
that?
opinion, not anyone who uses them, but anyone who says they're snipers, my opinion, no, it's a glorified assault rifle with a scope. That's all it is.
Yeah, it is.
It's a glorified assault rifle.
Putting a sniper scope on a FAMAS. It's basically like what you can do on Modern Warfare now, where you can put a sniper scope on an M4, which makes no sense. Why on earth would you do that?
Yeah.
But we'll move on to Infinite Warfare. I know, Dan, you'll want to talk about this one a bit
and
more.
Modern Warfare Remastered, they dropped the same year. They were the Legacy Edition. I fucking pre-ordered that shit. Cost me £90. Got that game.
And well, let me say my bit, because my bit's a lot shorter than yours.
Yeah.
Okay, so that game came out, two CODs in one. It was the first ever time it had happened. We got Infinite Warfare, which was the new one, and they'd sort of, you could tell they'd heard about this whole we don't like the jetpack thing, and it was a backlash, and they were getting it, and they sort of gone, oh shit, what can we do to keep our audience?
I'm sure they leaked it themselves as well. I'm 99% sure they leaked it themselves as a marketing scheme.
Yeah, so they made Modern Warfare Remastered, so we all got fucking so hyped.
Oh man, I was so happy.
We were so happy. And I remember playing the beta for Infinite Warfare. They didn't give us
we had a load of fun on that, didn't we? It was me, you, Rio, Hope. We had a couple of other people. We were grinding that game, and it was, before I take over what you were saying, I just wanted to say that game, they mastered the flying movement. That movement in that game, they mastered it. It was spot on. It was easy for anyone to navigate. It wasn't overpowered where you could jump in the air and just destroy people. It was easy to snipe people out of the air in that game. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It was
first Call of Duty to go to space, in fact.
Yeah. Terminal was on the moon, motherfucker. Yeah. Terminal was on the moon.
So
going back to man.
So obviously Dan said when the game came out, I pre-ordered it for 90 quid.
£89.99.
it was the highest price of a Call of Duty, not like
But
a premium.
You were getting two games.
You were getting two. So I could pay $89.99 now. When Black Ops 4 came out, I think that was $89.99 for the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
Anyway, I pre-ordered it, and it was the second COD I'd had on my Xbox One. So I got Black Ops 3 with my Xbox One, and so I got these new games, and I'm pretty sure I played about 3 games of Infinite Warfare.
You hated it.
and about 5 games of Modern Warfare Remastered. And obviously coming from COD 4 as one of my main games, and the fact that I loved it so much, and I saw how much they'd ruined it, and it didn't feel the same. There was no fluidity. Is that even a word?
There's no fluidity. Fluidity.
I couldn't get to grips with it. Anyway, sold my Xbox. Still got them. Like, I've got my Xbox One now, and luckily on my account I've still got that game, so I could still play it. But I sold my Xbox. I was so angry with Call of Duty and what they'd done.
That's when you transitioned to H1 after that, I believe, didn't you?
Yeah,
you went to PC.
Yeah.
See,
I hated it so much. It was so disgusting.
I have so much to talk about on this topic. So much.
And I got rid of it. But Dan obviously continued. Dan didn't follow me to PC.
I grinded hardcore on that game. Sorry, that game. So
no, I know you liked it. So
the beta came out. Me, Connor, and a few others, we grinded it. Connor enjoyed the Infinite Warfare beta. We all enjoyed that, didn't we? It was a nice change. It was a nice change of pace from because we all, like I say, we skipped over BO3. We went back to the old CODs for a little bit while that year fizzled out for Black Ops 3. But
yeah.
So we'll start from the beginning. I enjoyed the beta. Infinite Warfare came out. I grinded Infinite Warfare so fucking hard. I remember Obey dropped an RC back then, and I made, in my opinion, because I'm biased, I made one of the best RC responses on Infinite Warfare. I just lacked map variety, and that wasn't my fault. It was Skydock, as people started calling me Daff, and then we got Terminal, and what was the other map called? Bollocks.
There was that space one on the rocket ship where you floated.
What was there?
Yeah, it was on the beta, and it was a long corridor down the middle, and then you could branch off and go to the side, and when you killed people, they started floating.
I remember the ship you're talking about, the map you're talking about. It was on a spaceship. Yeah, you're right. I can't remember the map, but anyway, that game for me, I put hours in, I put time in. I reached 10th prestige in the first 2 weeks. First 3 weeks, and then they added another 20 prestiges to the game, so you could go to prestige 30. I got up to prestige 16, but once I had the demotivation of not getting an Obey, I stopped playing Infinite Warfare. But I hit some banger clips on that game. I had
But then you did move on to
which I was going to get into next. Yeah, so I hit a quad on Infinite Warfare, a crazy quad. Like, I only saw one person and killed 4. I have 7 triple headshots on that game. I have some nice 5-ons. The snipers were great. When they brought back the intervention, I was over the moon. It was a thing a weapon you unlocked when you reached prestige 1. The longbow wasn't very good until they started releasing variants for that game.
Quite slow, wasn't it? It was quite slow.
It was, yeah. But yeah, that game for me, the movement, I mastered the movement and the wall running and the sliding. I learned all the...
That was the second COD where they brought out like a 3-round burst sniper, which was very similar to the NW2's intervention until they brought out an intervention, didn't they? Basically, another copy of the intervention. But,
it was called the TF-141, which if you look at what the intervention is, the actual official name for that weapon is the TF-141. But yeah, obviously I grinded that game out. I think my RC response got over 1,000 views, and it was liked by a lot of Obey members. And the only thing, like I say, is I lacked variety, so I won't go into that. But then I turned my attention to Modern Warfare Remastered. I got to 20th prestige in that game, level 150 odd. I grinded that game fucking hardcore. I hit some crazy clips on it. The game for me felt great. The only thing I didn't like about that game, again, was the kill feed. The kill feed really... If they were going to remaster a game, make it what it used to be, they needed to keep the simple aesthetics of kills. 5 plus 5 in Dom, plus 10 in TDM, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Plus 50.
That's something we haven't touched on.
Yeah, it's all right. It's fine, but everyone knows the bait. If they know us from Call of Duty, they know what to expect from Call of Duty. Like
I just mean like the plus 5,
yeah,
plus
yeah,
10. Like the stacking times were so good on the earlier Call of Duties, COD 4 and
World at War.
And even Modern Warfare 2 wasn't too bad. It was like 100.
No, because you understood what those points meant. That's why it would tell you one shot kill, long shot, bullseye, headshot, so on and so forth. But then Modern Warfare Remastered Domination, it was just plus 50 for a kill in Dom, plus 100 for a kill in TDM. But I really enjoyed those games. But if you remember in the original Modern Warfare Remastered, you couldn't get triples. It was only until
that was a huge issue.
That was a massive thing, and I remember a gentleman from SAW called Cross made a video comparing side by side. He got everyone on shipment, got them running at him. He could only get a single or a collat, and then he did it on COD 4, and he was getting a triple or a quad. So that was one of the first games where the developers actually went, oh shit, we fucked up, let's fix this. And in February of 2017, the patch was released, and I remember the day of the patch being released, I hit my first triple on Vacant with a Barrett. And I was like,
headshot on that.
I did, yeah, that was the same month. It was the same month that they patched it, I hit a triple headshot. Obviously, I don't want to get too much into clips and stuff, I just want to talk about like the game experience and stuff. But that, I tell you what, Remaster for me was a lot of fun, and I feel like they did a good job on the remastering of the weapons without taking too much away from the original. But in a lot of people's opinions, the game flopped. And then it wasn't until you could only get that game if you purchased the deluxe edition. They fucked up. They didn't release a copy. They didn't release Modern Warfare.
I can't buy that on Steam now.
No, you still can't on Steam, but on Xbox and PlayStation, they finally released the game separately about 8 or 9 months after the game's release.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame, because I feel like the games could have had bigger player bases on each separately if they released the game separately.
That game is sort of where Scope started really, bringing his audience in. Scope was on Modern Warfare Remastered, and he was using that new sniper they added. And that's another issue that I had with the game, that the added extra weapons that weren't in the original COD. So that's not a remaster to me. That's a new game.
It's a remake.
Anyway, Scope really got his... I mean, he was big on BO3. I remember Scope...
that's when he first started streaming BO3. He first started streaming BO3.
And then, obviously, Remaster came out, and he was so good at that fucking reload cancel thing.
Oh, the Stack Aggressor. Yeah, that was the new gun that they added, But from a personal experience, I super enjoyed that game. That game was a lot of fun for me. I had a lot of good times on there. That's when I kick-started off my streaming. Modern Warfare and
and you started on YouTube,
April 2017 was my first stream. I should know really.
Put them on unlisted or something.
My very first stream was on my birthday, 24th of April 2017. So I've been streaming for almost over 3.5 years now. So
whereas I at this point had gone onto PC and was streaming
H1Z1 and DayZ. You were playing a lot of DayZ back then as well.
Yeah, H1Z1, DayZ.
I think at that point,
other games.
In time, we had a little bit of a falling out, didn't we? We weren't talking at all then. I think for the majority of that year, we were just checking up on each other. We were like,
it was more of a case because I played PC and you carried on staying on Xbox.
Stuck on primitive consoles, 100%. But we were still texting each other though.
Yeah. Luckily, later that year, you went on to...
I'd already purchased a console in a PC in 2016 in December. It was my first desktop that I owned. Before that, I only had laptops, so obviously I couldn't play with Connor at the time. But that's Modern Warfare and Infinite Warfare has a special place in my memory, and because it was the game that I sort of blew up on YouTube. I was quite big on YouTube. 40 to 50 concurrent viewers on YouTube, which for me is massive. And it wasn't until September of the same year. I'd only been streaming on YouTube 4 months, and I went from 500 subscribers up to 1.8k, I think, 1.7k.
You're on now. Yeah.
And that was obviously it's going to have a special place for me because it was a game I grew my audience on and I got into streaming and people actually enjoyed watching Infinite Warfare, which was a massive shock to me. I
But
could not believe
that being great for what I said earlier about the color schemes and stuff like that. It's because it's visually pleasing. Not for
it
me.
was.
I hate it. I'd rather have that dark and gloomy. Because we came from a thing where we made montages to heavy rock music and that sort of like gripped you. So we grew up with that. We don't like the color scheme, but for younger audiences, they want to watch all that like brightness and colors and stuff like that. So obviously Dan's streams took off because of this new Call of Duty, and fair play, it works for you. But then you made the mistake of coming over to Twitch, and
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing we can talk about in the podcast as to why I made that decision. But long story short, I made that decision because I couldn't listen to the music I wanted to. I couldn't enjoy chilling, playing a game, and
now look what
I
happened.
had a worry of getting copyright strike, and I did. I have one copyright strike on my channel, which I got through stupidly leaving my streams up. But now they've muted all the audio for all my streams. I don't know if you've noticed that. If you've ever watched any of them, but they've muted all the audio for it. I've been given third-party copyright, not strikes. They're called like demonetization or whatever. They demonetized all the video, and they said they muted the audio because it's owned by some big universal music group.
That's the reason why we don't have music on in the back of these podcasts. We could put like some audio in, but I think a podcast shouldn't have that music anyway. But I know a lot of people would, have that little rhythm in the background or something like that. But moving on from that COD, we went on to
World War II. Another great game for me, but I'll let you start off first.
Which World War II I didn't play until about 2 years ago. Obviously, the game came out 3 years ago. I only started playing it around about 2 years ago. Great game for snipers. Huge game. They give us 15 snipers. Was it 15 or was it more than 15?
No, it was less. It was 12.
No, there's a lot of snipers on thingy. Hold up,
We'll probably put the list up on the screen. We'll put a screenshot of all the snipers on the screen if we can get one off the internet. But while Connor's searching that up and doing his little research, World War II, another game where it had been a minute since the developers had listened to the community, and they were like, "Right, we understand
12.
that." Was it 12? I was right. I knew it. I knew it. They'd listened to us. Treyarch listened to the community, at least for the first few months of the game. We had the Car 98K, the Lee Enfield. We had the PTRS that was introduced later on, the WZ35, the 9mm SDK.
Delisle, or Delisle, whatever it's called.
The Delisle, which was, you had variants like the Whisper, the Spectre, I believe one of the variants. We had the Arasaka. Oh, man.
That was the second sniper to have...
integrated
silencer, yeah, which was again huge, like because you could get a one shot with a gun with a silencer on. Because I don't know whether you noticed, I know you'll have noticed, Dan, but like if you put a silencer on the intervention,
it affected damage and range,
hit marker, yeah, which sucked. So yeah, huge game for snipers.
The sniping community.
Like, they give us so much, and the maps were good. The maps were pretty decent. They give us.
It's making me want to play it. Don't be talking about it like this. It makes me want to play it.
We might jump on this later on PC or something like that. But yeah, very, very interesting game. They give us a lot of variants for scopes. I loved it.
The only downside to that game, I mean, there was 2 or 3 downsides. One of the big downsides was you could not get a 6 on. You could not.
Yeah.
And I hit one, and it's only a 5 on.
Yeah.
So depressing.
Think I've hit one. I hit a split 6 on.
I got a 6 on, a collat ending 6 on, but you can't see it because the kill feed only allows 5, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, so and it shoots up in such a weird way where it doesn't bounce.
It just disappears. It disappears.
It just stays on the same thing. Yeah. There's some mega issues with the game. One being riot shields, which is funny because I was
going to say I was going to have a point about that, which is why I quit the game.
Riot shields weren't made until after World War II, which is the more hilarious thing.
Was they not? Have we had this discussion before?
70s. Yeah, they were invented in like the 70s. Riot shield. What am I thinking of? Riot shield.
1977.
Yeah, 77. So how were they in World War Two? You're shooting someone in the back of the head when the right shield's in front of them. You get a hit marker. It made no sense. Like, they fucked up with that so badly. Like, that's one of the worst fuck ups in COD history.
Imagine how fucking heavy they would be in real life if they're made out of steel.
They were made out of steel. Yeah, you couldn't carry that shit.
And if you did, you'd be literally pushing it along the floor in front of you rather than having it on your back and being able to force. Well, we won't get into that fucking tangent.
Another one. Now you've just said full sprint. They give you a perk where you could run at ultimate speed for non-stop, which it's kind of stupid.
Was that Commander or what was that perk called? Because I remember they had a different perk system on that game, didn't they? You could only have one perk, I think.
Yeah.
And then they did the throwback playlist where you could have stopping power, juggernaut, steady aim, deep impact.
It was like it was so dumb that they could run full speed. Like, I'm saying they could run full speed, but it was that they could run full speed while carrying on shooting and not have any issue with their recoil or anything like that.
Recoil. Yeah. But so, I wanted to. Sorry, carry on.
No, that was it.
I was just going to say that, so if, for any of you guys who know me, World War II was a big game again for me. Another year, Obey dropped another RC, and I did really well for the RC, again, second year running, and it was another game that I super enjoyed. And I grinded that game out so it dropped in November. The Obey RC dropped late December, and it was carried on through January, I believe, at some point in January. So I did the RC response. The game was fantastic. We had great snipers. And then what did they do? They patched the Kar 98K, the most used sniper on the game. They patched it. They slowed down the bolt and ADS time. And again, another year that they fucked us. And but it's all right. Sniping community. Yeah, and the sniping community got over that really quickly. They weren't bothered because we had so many snipers to choose from. We had the Springfield. They started releasing variants for these weapons. We had the Lee Enfield, which was mostly a one-shot. So no one was really bothered about that. It was
like a one-shot headshot, and people would just go in for headshots with it. But it was like a machine gun.
And then we move into the transitional period of World War II around March, April time when they introduced riot shields and dragon breath shotguns with.
That shit.
Yeah. So obviously,
was that the first year they did that? Or no, they did it on Black Ops 1, I believe.
No,
didn't they
not
have a dragon breath? Didn't they have a dragon breath? It was like a Spaz 12 that was dragon breath, I believe.
No, I don't think so.
Or was that a different game? I'm thinking.
I think it was a different game. But anyway, they brought it into World War II, and oh my god, I quit the game in an instant. Stopped playing it. Went back to Infinite Warfare for another year. I played that game out for the rest of the World War II year, and oh man, it sucks so much because the game started off so well. It had so much promise. Don't get me wrong, I did keep coming back to it, like for a couple of days to play some TDMs with like Rio and a few of my friends. Because obviously at this point, Connor, you didn't get into World War II on console, did you?
I got it on PC in about late 2018, like September 2018.
But I really started popping off on Twitch when I made a transitional period in Infinite Warfare. I decided to move over to Twitch in fully. I made the decision fully in October 2017. I made that decision to move to Twitch.
You joined us over on Twitch, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And then my channel started to grow really well. Everyone was loving coming and watching World War II. On New Year's, I did a New Year's stream, and I had over 30 people in my stream watching the midnight, like doing a New Year's celebration with me on Twitch, which is crazy to me. 30 people who could be down celebrating with their families, getting drunk out in the pubs and bars, but instead they wanted to watch me play World War II on New Year's Eve, and that was such a cool experience for me. And that game was so much fun for such a long time.
That got you affiliate before I got affiliate.
It did, yeah. My concurrent viewers, I think I managed to.
This one was sort of dying around there.
It was, yeah. It was. It started to fizzle out a little bit, but World War II was such a fun game for me, man, to begin with. And then I lost interest, went back to the old games, and I mean, I still revisit World War II. I revisited it a lot last year. I played it a lot because Modern Warfare. No, it was before Modern Warfare. It was Black Ops 4 era where I just revisited World War II all the time because people started getting into it because they were releasing new snipers. That's what I mean. They've taken care of World War II, the sniping community, for the last 2 or 3 years. They have looked after us by giving us new snipers and new variants.
They've carried on adding new snipers up until about last year.
Yeah, and they carried on
The
doing
two,
stuff to
two
the
years
game.
after.
Obviously, it was the.
It's the only COD they carried on doing stuff for.
But we'll finish up that just so. I just want to say World War Two is still a great game. It's in my top 5 or 6 games, even though they even though they fucked us a little bit. I'm gonna say that is still one of my favorite games easily.
Yeah.
It's such a fun game to play with your friends. There's so many different options as a sniper that you can choose from, different attachments. You could have a 15-round mag on the Lee Enfield. That's insane. You can
have that perk on that carried on loading bullets.
Escalation. That was another revolutionary thing they did with the game. As long as you kept killing and getting multiplayers, it would automatically fill up your mag, and you could get like 10 kill streaks of fucking 5 on times 5s, shit like that.
Still have 15 bullets in your mag. It's crazy.
Yeah. But that game was good.
Move on to the next COD because
I'll give that COD a solid 8 out of 10.
We've got to be on like an hour and 40 minutes or some
hour 45 in now. Yeah, we'll
shit.
That's all right. We'll
wrap it up soon.
We'll wrap it up soon.
We've got 3 CODs left, so Black
Ops
we don't
4. We don't technically have to touch on Modern Warfare. We don't, because it's the current COD, isn't it?
Let's do it. Let's just mention it because it's the end of the podcast. So Black Ops 4, the first COD I originally got on PC.
Yeah, same for me. First COD I purchased on. I made the transitional move to the Master Race, I must say.
Yeah, and then we got given Blizzard for the first time.
Terrible experience.
Taken over Blizzard. Would have been better on Steam.
Activision purchased Blizzard in 2018 for 1.1 billion or something, or 2.1 billion.
So
something
we basically
like
got fucked because Steam would have been a lot better.
It's where they have been for the last 10, 15. They've always been on Steam, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, always been on Steam. Yeah. So Black Ops 4, in my opinion, was pretty bad.
Well, it depends on what part of Black Ops 4 you're looking at. Are you talking about Blackout or are you talking about multiplayer?
This is what I'm about to say. So multiplayer, pretty bad.
They fucked us on PC. We moved to PC and we get fucked. They weakened all the snipers, man.
They weakened all the snipers. We didn't get on console. They'd have like an extra bullet in the bolt action.
The Paladin,
it scoped quicker. Yeah, it bolted quicker. We got fucked for like months. So we just stopped playing multiplayer. So we're not very good at talking about multiplayer on this game. But in my opinion, pretty bad.
You ate a triple with a biscuit in your mouth.
I did, yeah.
That was your first. Yeah, that was your first triple. We'll pop that in there.
Yeah, it's the only clip I ever hit on that game. Actually,
I didn't. What did I hit on that game? I didn't. No, I hit one triple. One triple, and I didn't hit any. I hit some quad feeds, and then I realised how bad that game was at multiplayer on PC. It's such a shame. We moved to COD on PC at the wrong time. We really did.
At the time, around about that time, Battle Royales were really taking off. We had PUBG, 100%. We had H1, we had loads of them. What else did we have?
Fortnite.
Fortnite had started.
Fortnite, that was why I believe it was why Call of Duty transitioned, because the Battle Royale genre at the time of BO4's release was huge.
Making so much money.
Yeah, PUBG was massive. You had Fortnite, which was only launched as a free-to-play Battle Royale the year before. So
obviously, COD have gone.
They wanted to dip their fingers in.
We need to do something quick. Release Blackout, fantastic BR.
It's I always say this. It's my favorite Battle Royale ever. The movement, the gunplay, the simplicity, the map, everything about Blackout made me love Battle Royales today. Everything about that game. The only thing I didn't like was the armor concept, and it wasn't.
But then they carried that on for a lot of BRs after.
Yeah, so you sort of got used to it. The thing I liked
about it was the certain things you could pick up. So you had like a grapple hook. I need to get out of a situation quick. Grapple hook away.
Yeah.
Or the recon darts was so good. Instead of having a UAV like the current BR.
If you wanted to push a compound and you were scared or you were worried that you might get run up on, shoot a fucking recon dart down in your compound and it would show anyone in that vicinity.
It was fantastic.
It was perfect.
And there was no way of getting out of that. There was no way of putting like Ghost on.
Nope.
to not be seen by it. You were always seen by it. If you're in that radius, you got seen by it.
That's
So
why.
very good BR.
That's why I love the
Sorry.
perk concept. You know, the little green boxes you used to pick up on the floor: dead silence, paranoia. Paranoia,
Yeah.
you could hear footsteps from a mile, well, not a mile away, but in a certain area. You had dead silence. If you're about to run up on a team and the zone's closing in, you pop on dead silence, you'll be able to full sprint and be as quiet as anything. And it was just such a cool concept, man. That
Yeah,
Call of
very good. But
Treyarch did it
multiplayer
perfectly.
Multiplayer was trash. Blackout was fantastic.
We grinded that game. I'm so upset that it died on PC so quickly.
And sort of we sort of left it though.
It was our fault, yeah. What did we start playing at that time? Was it PUBG? I think we moved over.
Probably, yeah.
I think we fell in love with Blackout so much. We were hoping we could be as good on Blackout as we were on PUBG, and we were somewhat.
Yeah.
I would say we were a pretty good duo in those games, and that's when I introduced Zoe to Blackout and PC games. Yeah. And she loved it. We played with us all the time. She loved that shit.
Drop into the map and we'd go, use.
Yeah.
That meant usual spot where we'd land. We landed the same place every single time, and we pretty much won quite a lot of our games.
I think before I retired that game, I had close to 100 wins.
Yeah.
And I mean, we didn't play it. We didn't play it every day, but we would play our normal CODs during the day, and then in the evening, when we were all free, when Zoe was back from work, it was Blackout all evening until like 1 or 2 in the morning. That game was a solid BR, and I would give anything for Cold War to bring that back. I would do anything for Cold War to bring
back something very similar.
Well, I know they're bringing Warzone to Blackout, but I want them to have their own separate
Warzone to Blackout.
BR.
Warzone to Cold War.
Warzone to Cold War, you know what I meant. But I really want them to bring that
Warzone and do it for their weapons. That'd be kind of good.
It would be good if they bring out. So, say I don't know, your friend hasn't bought the newest Call of Duty, and I know they're going to do that. They're going to say, right, well, you haven't got the newest Call of Duty, but I'm going to come play Warzone with you on Cold War, on Modern Warfare. I'm going to come and play with you. Yeah. But I also want them to do a separate BR where it's just like Blackout was, because how beautiful was the map visually? How green was the grass? How
very colourful again.
Yeah.
Very colourful. So
all the buildings. Oh man, I had a blast.
Some of the Treyarch have really knocked out the park for the colour schemes.
Except World War II. World War II was a very dull game, wasn't it?
No, because you could get them camos that were like bright red and.
Oh well, yeah, but when I'm talking about
player visual skins. No, you got to think of Shipment. Shipment COD 4, very very dull. They bring it back for World War II, very bright.
Oh yeah, I suppose
sunny beach. But we'll transfer on, because we're talking about BRs now. We'll transfer on to Modern Warfare, which also has a BR. I actually enjoy the BR quite a lot. The BR is good.
Great. It's not Blackout, and it never will be Blackout.
No.
And the shit you could do in that game in Blackout, like having no loadouts, you just pick up a gun, you find attachments, and they auto-equip to the gun you're using, or you could just bring up your inventory by pressing whatever on a controller and tab on a keyboard, bring up your inventory, move your attachments about. The inventory layout in that game, when you kill someone, they drop a little body bag, you unzip it, you take the shit you want, and you move on. The concept of inventory and in Blackout compared to Warzone, Blackout for me wins every day. Every day of the week, Blackout wins.
So now we're on Modern Warfare. The one good saving grace of Modern Warfare, I don't know whether you know what I'm going to say, Dan, because it was revolutionary. This game is revolutionary, what they've done this year. We first saw it in the beta.
Was it the snipers? Oh, crossplay, of course.
We could crossplay with every single console, which is like huge.
That was unheard of a couple of years ago. Unheard of. It was
We've grown up with people, and we've stopped talking to them fully because they stayed on the console scene and we transferred to the PC scene. So we lost touch with people because of this divide in consoles almost. So bringing back the fact that we can play with anyone on any console, because Neil plays on PS4. We played the beta with him. We did, yeah. Yeah, and it was fantastic. We could play with everyone. And there's the one thing that I'm glad Modern Warfare came to this whole scene. It's not, in my opinion, it's not the worst game. It's not the worst one. You know how I feel about that. I know.
I'm not
But,
a fan. I think the game's total
obviously,
trash.
Modern Warfare, we spoke about it in previous podcasts, so we won't talk about it. So moving on to Black Ops Cold War, there's only one thing we've got to say about it because we've spoke about this before. There has been an article released since the alpha.
We'll put it up on the screen for you guys to read, but I'll...
The beta comes out in about a few days from when this podcast goes up.
For the listeners who have just got us on in the background, shall I read it for them? Should I just read it?
Yeah, read it out.
So
we were disgusted when we saw this last night.
Yeah, I didn't realise that it was even tweeted. It was tweeted on the day the beta ended, so Sunday. I didn't even... the alpha, sorry. The day the alpha ended. I didn't even see it. I only scrolling through Facebook as you do, and I just came across it. And it's from a gentleman called Tony Flame, which I believe is our developer. I think he's a developer of the new Cold War.
Right.
Or he's lead developer or lead game designer, something like that. Anyway, the tweet says, okay, let's talk sniping in Cold War. Crossplay is coming, but we knew it wouldn't be in the alpha. We buffed the snipers to evaluate their performance in this alpha specifically. Sniper rifles will have balance changes for the upcoming beta based on our analytics data this weekend. And that tweet was over 2,000 people within the first 10 minutes of the tweet commented and replied. And when you scroll through those first few tweets, you can see how angry the sniping community is. Like, as a whole, they're saying stuff like, "Oh, I hope it's not a game-breaking change. I hope they don't change the mechanics. If you do this, you're going to lose my purchase." Stuff like that. And it's had so many retweets and likes as well. Like, I'm assuming a lot of people that like the tweet are probably people who aren't fans of sniping, which is obviously a big part of the game. But when we heard about this
false hope.
Yeah.
It's the false hope that this year we're going to get it back. We're going to
the alpha sniping was
actually work
perfect. As they didn't touch it, it was perfect. I get hit markers, but I get it. I'm not hitting upper body. I was hitting legs. I was hitting, I don't know, lower abdomen. But chest head, one shot, 99% of the time. Fantastic from first-hand experience.
That tweet's really fucking triggered me and Dan last night because I didn't even get a chance to play the alpha, so I'll never experience what Dan experienced.
What the snipers were like, man. You've missed out, and it's such a shame. Yeah. It's such a shame. If the beta, if they fuck it up...
Obviously, the first episode, we talked about the fact that this whole PS4 exclusive thing is a load of bullshit. But
they paid the money, haven't they? They put up the money.
Yeah, and it's such a shame, but at the same time... We've just got to wait and see, and hopefully we don't get.
I mean, by the time this podcast airs, we're only going to be a week or two away, a week and a bit away from the beta.
Yeah.
No.
So you got to think.
This will air on the 7th, will it not?
7th or the 8th, yeah.
Yeah, and the beta for PS4 starts on the 8th.
Let me check. So September, not August. So this will be...
This will air on the 7th or the 6th.
5th.
Air on the 5th.
This will be on the 5th. So in 3 days, you will have the beta. Everyone will be playing the beta.
Well, no, PS4 will be playing the beta. Just PS4, remember?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
The open beta for PS4 will start in 3 days from now, which is... I mean, I get it. Sony are fronting a load of money to... Activision for a contract, but we won't get into that. We've already talked about that. But when we both heard about the snipers being patched,
it was
it was a punch in the gut for me, for someone who just managed to play the alpha.
Something we talked about when we got to the Black Ops 2 thing was Vondi. Everyone hated Vondi for what he did to the DSR, and the next two Black Ops, all the guns we had got patched again. So they're just doing it again, and it's a surprise that we thought it was going to be different. It's the fact that they've dangled it in front of our face. They've gone, "Oh, the snipers are this good," and then they've gone, "Nah, fuck that. You can get fucked. You're a sniper. We hate you. Get rid of it. I'm bald and I'm called Bondi." So, he's an arsehole. If he's done it again, there's no way in the future of Black Ops I will ever buy one again. I'm going to buy this one.
I don't think we can blame one individual person. I have nothing. Vondi's also done some good things for World War II. Sniping.
Yeah, Vondi's also a scapegoat for me. He's bald and he wears glasses and he pisses me off. And the fact that he did it to the DSR, because you know he was the one that did it to the DSR because he tweeted about it at the time. So the guy's an arsehole. So
Yeah,
we'll
but
see.
there's been so much
If you're watching,
controversy.
fuck you. Right, continue.
But like I said, I don't think we can. I don't think personally we can put it down to one person. But Vondi made it clear that he did do it in BO2, and he acknowledged the hate that he got, and he's been trying to make up for it over the last couple of years. And then just to have Tony Flame, whatever he does for the company, or if he's a community manager, whether he has a say into what the snipers can do, but then him publicly tweeting out to tell us that the sniper rifles were buffed to see their performance in the alpha, to then tell us that he's going to take it all away in the beta and change it. That hurts me a little bit, because we went into the alpha not knowing what the snipers were going to be capable of, to then have them to tell us that, oh yeah, by the way, just so you know, on the last day of the alpha, we did buff the snipers for the duration of this alpha to see how overpowered they were, and then to be like, well, we're not going to have them like that in the beta, is just total bullshit. That's not fair. They can't do that. I mean, they can. They're a multi-million-dollar company, but
have they overbuffed them, and then they're going to see that this is my worry. They overbuffed them. They've watched what happened, and then gone, oh, we'll what's the word?
Evaluate?
No, not buff, the other one.
Nerf.
Yeah, we'll nerf the snipers, but then how far are they going to go? Why they do it too?
Yeah, that's my worry. That is also my worry.
What they need to do is all get into a firing range. They need to load a rubber bullet into an R700, and they need to get shot in the upper chest, and then we'll see. We'll see if they think it's worth the hit marker. That's a rubber bullet.
I think,
I'm not saying a real bullet.
Personally, even though this has triggered me, I don't think they're going to touch the damage, because the Pellington hit marker is like no tomorrow. The gun that was in the alpha, the one that looks like a USR. It's got the same sort of like rounded edge, and you can see the barrel along the top. I feel like they might not touch the damage. I think people were complaining about, and even I was shocked at how quick they scope in with minimal attachments. So I think it's going to come down to an ADS thing. It's going to be like we're sniping on Modern Warfare 2 with Marathon on. It's going to be slow, but you're still going to get the one-shots. I'm worried about that, because I think ADS plays a big part in what sniping is. Look how quick the M40 scopes in with ACOG.
Yeah, and Modern Warfare 2, they gave us a perk to scope in quicker.
I feel like maybe they may slow down the ADS and give us a perk instead. And if they do that, I'm more than happy to grind out the 1,000 sleight of hand kills to get the perk pro, so I can have the faster ADS. At least give us a challenge.
Yeah.
Give us a challenge.
At least give us like a... So say if there is a perk, and we lose another good perk because we have to have that onto scoping quick, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I can deal with that.
For it.
Yeah, I'm 100%. If they're going to punish us a little bit because the alpha performance, where they noticed that snipers were killing machine gunners quicker than machine gunners killing snipers, I get that. But then there's a lot of skill involved and time and practice for us to be that good, to beat a red gunner to the point where we're...
For 10 to 12 years. There's a reason we're good.
Yeah,
no, don't punish us because some 10-year-old is now crying because he's getting shot by a sniper so quick. You know.
Yeah.
But we should probably wrap it up there anyway. But yeah,
we just wanted to talk about it because it was tweeted about it, and all the big gaming pages are posting articles on the tweet and what that means for the snipers and what that means for the sniping community, and it is kind of upsetting, but I guess it's still very early doors. I mean, the game isn't due to be released until November. We're in September. We got 2 whole months before the full game's released. They could tweak a lot. They could listen to our feedback. We don't know what the community management, where they interact with the fans, is going to be like this year. And because it's Treyarch and the alpha did show some promise other than SBMM and them patching the snipers potentially, I feel like it could be a good game this year, and that's all I want to say on the topic. I hope that
let us know what you think they're going to do in the comments, because I'd love to.
If you agree with us, yeah, I want to see some other opinions in the comments below. If you guys have got some stuff,
read some of the comments in the next podcast and just say like, look, like, yeah, you thought we were right, or you've got a different take on it. Yeah, it'd be good to see, but we should wrap it up now because we're pushing.
We're at the 2 hour mark. we're at the 2 hour.
So
This
this
is
is
going to
how
be a
long-
longer episode, but we've gone into some detail about the history of Call of Duty and our personal opinions, and I think this is quite an educational episode for people who are just getting into the Call of Duty scene, about hearing past experiences on the older games and stuff like that. I think it's quite educational for the Call of Duty community that are very new. I believe that, and what we've spoke about and how we've gone about it and talking about it. But yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything you want to get people to get involved in?
No, that's cool with me. Just let us know how you're liking the podcast so far. This is our 3rd episode. We've recorded them literally day after day after day. So we did, the first what day are we on now? We're on Wednesday.
Wednesday the 23rd. Yeah.
Uploaded it Monday. Second one we recorded yesterday. It's ready and sat in on scheduled for 4:15 on the next Monday. Obviously,
so if you're subscribed, just remember to hit that bell to get notifications so you never miss a podcast from us. Please do. We're trying to reach out to the gaming audience, and even if you're not into gaming, like I say, we cover all sorts of stuff on this podcast. We're talking about, in the first 3 episodes, we want to talk about our roots in the gaming community, and where we've come from.
Currently, right now, we've got 15 subscribers. Now that's fantastic off one video, and the channel being up for 3 days. We've got 81% of people that aren't subscribed still watching our video, so it's fantastic. We're on nearly 150 views on the first podcast. That's better than most of my videos have done all through the years. So yeah, fantastic support, and I appreciate it. And we just want you to carry on supporting us and let us know what you think. If you've got any ideas for it, just let us know in the comments.
We have a lot of plans for the future. We're going to bring a lot of people in on this. A lot of our friends want in and want to have discussions with us and give their opinions on certain things, which is fantastic. Obviously for us, it means we get to have some of our best friends on, and we can just chat like we're just sitting in Discord talking, and just talk about topics, have discussions, have disagreements, have agreements. It's going to be a lot of fun. These podcasts will get better as time goes on. Obviously, we're new to this. We're still learning. So any feedback is good feedback in my eyes. If you want to criticize us if we're doing something wrong, please tell us down in the comments below.
Not creative. Is it creative? Anyway, we should end this.
Right. So
it's been an absolute pleasure again. It's
been a lot of fun.
Literally sat here for 2 hours just chatting shit about COD. Brilliant. So yeah.
Do you want me to sign us off? Right, so this has been the Deja-Brew podcast, episode number 3. I hope you've all enjoyed this podcast. Just remember, if you're at home doing nothing, to stick us on in the background and just listen to us. Or if not, if you want to skip through, like I said, there's going to be timestamps in this video where you can go to portions of what we're talking about. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in for the 3rd episode, and we will catch you all in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, your afternoon, your morning, and we'll see you soon. Take it easy, guys.
Hey guys.